guys. Yes, guys, we can start. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the first exercise. I will show you how spanning tree protocol will block the ports. Right? Sorry. So what we're gonna do, so I'm gonna add my first switch here. This is switch number 1. We're gonna have the second switch here, switch number 2, and switch number 3. Right? Switch number 1 is connected to switch number 2. No, to switch number 3. Switch number 3 is connected to switch number 2, and switch number 1 also is connected to switch number 2. So what we're gonna have for switch number 1, there is a priority. The priority can be 4. MAC address maybe 6. For switch number 3, the priority maybe 2. MAC address 111. Right? Switch number 2, the priority 1. MAC address maybe 444. So just an example, right? You have like 3 switches. Every switch will have a priority and like its MAC address, right? Now we are going to see how spanning tree will block one of the port or 2, so if they are, or many, so in order to build a loop-free topology, right? So we are going to start with step number 1. Step number 1, we have to find what? The roots bridge. The roots bridge, right? The RB, because I saw, guys, what you did is not like that. You have to start by determining the roots bridge. What is the roots bridge? You are going to look at what? The lowest priority, right? So we're gonna check for what? Lowest priority. So you go back to those 3 switches. You're gonna check which one got a lower priority. You're gonna see that this one, switch number 2, got a lower priority because the priority is 1. Now, because switch number 2 got a lower priority, this one will be your root bridge. This is your root bridge. So even if I'm giving you 4 switches, 10 switches, you must start by determining the root bridge. You have to check the lower priority. You go to your switches, you're gonna check the priority. You're gonna see that switch number 2 got priority of number 1. So I want you guys, like all of you, to identify your root bridge. From exercise number 1, you must know your root bridge, and exercise number 2. When you are done with step number 1, you must move to step number 2. Number 2, you have to find the root port, right? What does it mean by root port? So the root port, you are checking the lowest cost, the port that has like the lowest cost to the root bridge. Lowest cost to what? To RB. So what does it mean, guys? You go to your 2 switches, switch 1 and switch number 3. Don't consider switch number 2 because this is your root bridge, right? We're gonna only check. We're gonna go to switch number 1 and switch number 3, right? We're gonna check, right? Like from switch number 1, there are 2 ways you can go to root bridge. So you're gonna ask like a question: how many ways can I go from switch number 1 and switch number 2? There are 2 ways. You can go like this, or you can go like this, right? So there are 2 ways. You can come this way, right? Or you can come this way, right? But if you are using fast Ethernet, this link, if it's fast Ethernet, right? fast Ethernet means what? The cost is 19, right? So for you to move from switch 1 to switch 3, you're gonna spend 19. From switch 3 to switch 2, you're gonna spend 19. You're gonna see that from switch number 1, if you wanna come this way, your message will cost, the cost of your message, so it's gonna be 38. But if you come like this, so it's gonna be 19. Means this is the lowest cost to the root bridge, right? Means that this port, you're gonna call it a root port, right? So after finding the root bridge, you must move to step number 2. You have to determine your root port. You go to every switch, you check your root port. Root port means lowest cost to the root bridge. So S1, from S1 to S2, there are 2 ways. But the easiest way or the short way is this one. So this port here will become the root port. Now you're gonna go to switch number 3. You're gonna find again your root port. You're gonna see that there are 2 ways that you can come to switch 2. You can come this way or you can come this way, right? But this one is the shortest one. This link means that your root port is this one, this port here. This is your root port. All right, so this is how you have to determine your root ports, right? So now you are done with your 2 root ports, right? Step number 3, you must determine your designated port, right? Your designated port, you cannot even think about it. It's gonna come like automatically, right? So this port here, this one here, it's gonna be your designated port, and this one here, it's gonna be your designated port, right? And which one? So this one is already a root port. This one too is gonna be your designated port. This one too gonna be your designated port, right? Now you're gonna notice like there is 2 designated port for 1 link. You cannot have that. 2 designated port for 1 link means there is a loop. So the loop is here. There's a loop here, right? So one must be blocked because you have 2 designated ports. One must be blocked. Which one you're gonna block? You must check the priority. Switch number 3 got lower priority. So means your spanning tree protocol will block this one. So this port gonna be blocked. All right. So this is how to find the blocking port. So this is how spanning tree can find a blocking port. Now we're gonna move to an exercise where we're gonna have 4 switches, right? So I can make it like this. So switch 1, switch 2, let's switch 3, and let's switch 4. It's priority 3, MAC address 111. It's priority 4, MAC address 222. It's priority 1, MAC address 444. It's priority 6, MAC address 677. Now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go for step number 1. Remember, guys, step number 1 is what? Root bridge. We're gonna look for the root bridge, right? So, and for root bridge, we have to look at what? Lowest priority, right? So if you go to your switches, those 4 switches, which one got a lower priority is this one, right? So this one will become what? Your root bridge, right? So this is where you have to start. You have to go step by step. Step number 2, root port, right? Lowest cost to the root bridge. So you must go to every switch that points to the root bridge. You check for the lowest cost, right? So we're gonna start with switch number 1, right? Okay, let's say we are using the gigabit link or interfaces, right? So gigabit, the cost is what? It's 4. Fast Ethernet, so the gigabit, the cost 4. Fast Ethernet, the cost is 19, right? So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna say, okay, from switch number 1, how many ways can I go to the root bridge? There are 2 ways, right? You can go like this, you can go like this. So your message can go like this, or your message can go like this. But this one is the shortest one, like in terms of cost, because if you wanna go like this, so it's gonna be 4 plus 4 plus 4, that's gonna be 12. So this port become the root port. Now you go to switch number 2, right? Switch number 2, you can go to the root bridge this way, or you can go this way, right? But you're gonna see there is a tie, right? So switch 2, there's a tie, right? So you're gonna see that by going like this, it's gonna be 12, it's gonna be 8. By going like this also, it's gonna be 8. We have to take the priority, because we are here like on switch number 2, right? That's on switch number 2. We're gonna check the interface number, right? Maybe the interface number, let's say this one was 0/1 and this one 0/2, right? Because we only deal with one switch, but there are 2 paths to the root bridge. You cannot check the priority, you cannot check the MAC address, you have to check the port number. So if this one is the lowest port number, this one will become your root port. This is your root port, right? Now we're gonna go to switch number 3, right? So switch number 3, you can go like this or like this, right? So this one is the shortest one, so this one gonna be your root port, right? Now you're gonna move to step number 3. Step number 3, you have to choose the designated port. So for designated port, what you're gonna do, like this one, right? From the root bridge, this one is a designated port, so this one is a designated port. You cannot even calculate it. So every segment from the root bridge is a designated port, right? Now, and this one, because you have already a root port here, so this one gonna be a designated port. So this one is gonna be also a designated port, and this one gonna be a designated port. Now you're gonna have 2 designated port. One must be blocked. 2 designated port means there's a loop. One must be blocked, right? How you gonna block it? You must check for the lower priority. This one got a lower priority, then this one means you are going to block this one, right? So this is how, guys, you have to proceed. For every exercise, you must check your switches. You must determine your root bridge, right? So after your root bridge, you go to other switches, you check their lower cost to the root bridge. Those are the root port. The remaining other ports, they are the designated ports. So if you found like one link got 2 designated ports, you have to block one by checking the priority, right? So thank you very much. If you got some other questions, don't hesitate to contact me.